Just push go live.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Hello,
Actually,
everybody. We are live on Facebook, and I am so excited to be here tonight with you. We have so much exciting news to share with you. But while we're letting everybody jump on, if you can just type down in the comments below what state you're from, and if you have a multidisciplinary clinic in your state, and we'd love for you to share this to your own Facebook group. So click that share button so it goes to your own Facebook page. We want everybody that has ALS to have an opportunity to hear this crazy, amazing message tonight. And we're going to tell you about the people that are going to join us in just a few seconds. So Mike and I are really excited to have them joining us on No More Excuses, but we're just going to wait for a few minutes while everybody gets logged into Facebook and gets the chance to get this up on their computer. So Mike, do you want to say anything while we're just waiting for everybody to log in?
yeah, absolutely. So we are live. Michelle, I did check that. So thank you all so much for watching. If you are new to the No More Excuses experience, and like Michelle said, we'll just give a few minutes here for everybody to get logged on. And this one's going to be really good tonight. Many of you have seen our live videos over the past 2.5 years now. And I think today's a good day for ALS. I hope that many of you are able to watch this or tell your friends about it. We're going to discuss some really new breaking things as far as changing the future of ALS healthcare, because ALS is so overwhelming when you're first diagnosed. You have so many questions. Where am I? What clinical trials can I get into? Things like, how in the heck am I going to find a good doctor? And especially if you live in a rural area and you don't go to a clinic, this is really a good one for people who live outside of those cities, large cities, but it's also good for those who live in the cities as well. So
We have some exciting
for
stuff.
me, yeah, we really do. We truly do.
Before we jump into the story, Mike, let me just let's check how many people are online.
If
we can get started. Yeah, let a few more jump on. Because
we're still a little early, aren't we?
Yeah, a few minutes early. So just again, if you were just jumping on live with us now, if you can type down in the comments box what state you're from, what city and state you're from. And if you happen to go to a multidisciplinary clinic or you don't, let us know that as well. And then click the share button on Facebook to share this to your own Facebook page. We'd really appreciate that. That's going to help get the word out to all of the people in the community that have ALS. And you can see on the computer, on the screen with us, are Brian and Sandra, and they will be coming live in just a second. I think they're still sharing to a couple of their different platforms. So as soon as they get that shared to their platform, they'll unmute and we will get going on our presentation. You ready to go?
Michelle, quick question.
Yes.
We need your guidance as always. Remind us how to do the sharing live so that I get that right.
Yeah, so if you just click for Facebook, just click the share button on the post on No More Excuses, and that should go directly to your own page. And if you want to share the link to Twitter, click the URL at the top, right click it, copy it, and put it over to Twitter.
Okay, thank you.
and you know what? If you can do it on LinkedIn
I also
too,
tweeted the link to Brian's. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got it.
I'm sorry. Also
told everybody about LinkedIn on LinkedIn to join us as well, but I can't do all of that while I'm doing the screen. So if you want to shoot it over to LinkedIn as well, we'll do that. We'll give it just one more minute. Will people share it to LinkedIn, to all of our different forums? So excited, you guys. This is
and Sandra, I texted the live link to Brian's cell phone. So all he has to do is just copy that and paste it right onto Twitter or however you want to do it.
He has officially
really what you do is you just send people to our main group.
Perfect. So I'm going to click
cool.
record.
Awesome.
And we will get going with the real live thing in just a second here. So one second, Mike.
No problem. We'll let everybody jump in and
welcome everybody.
This will be available
Thank you for joining
later.
us tonight. This is Michelle Lorenz and Mike Henson. We are here from No More Excuses, a Facebook group that's been leading the ALS advocacy, and we are honored to have Brian Wallach and Sandra Abravaya joining us tonight. They have changed the future of ALS, and I don't know what happened to Mike. We just lost him. They have changed the future of ALS. For those of you that don't know, Brian and Sandra started iamALS. And that organization in just 2 years, you just celebrated your anniversary, right?
3 years.
3 years. Oh, 3 years. Okay. So 3 years.
Just a
and
different
3
kind of toddler. Still
but lots of work
precocious.
nonetheless.
Yes,
Right.
totally.
Right. So iamALS, for those of you that are new to the community, is, and I'm not affiliated with them, so this is a very unbiased statement, I think has changed the landscape of advocacy for patient advocate groups, not just for ALS, but for all rare diseases. Brian and Sandra have been written up in the New York Times. They've been featured on CBS Sunday Morning for their just truly what we will call 10 years from now or 20 years from now, people are going to look back and say Brian and Sandra changed the future of ALS and rare neurodegenerative diseases. And so we're really excited to be here with them tonight because of that. Because now they're not just going to change patient advocacy. Now they're also going to change patient care for people with ALS. And I'm going to let Mike, since we lost you for a second.
Yeah,
there,
I
Mike.
know I hit the wrong button. I'm so sorry. I closed Zoom, which is so typical for me, right? You would think somebody that used to do production for Hard Rock wouldn't do something so stupid, but I did. So, guys, tonight, again, like Michelle said, so honored to have these guests with us. You know, Brian and Sandra met actually on the Obama campaign in New Hampshire, I think. And this is something I'm confused about because they are, as far as I know, from Chicago. At least Brian is living, and Sandra, of course, are living there now. But they met, I guess, at a picnic for the Obama campaign. Would you guys just fill us in? Just give us the 30-second version of how you met, if you want, and then we'll go from there. It's really interesting, I think. So talk about that.
Well, I mean, you'll have to stop me because I'm a consummate overshare. So if I start to get into the depths of our dating origin story and it's just getting to be too much, you guys can just put the brakes on us. But we did meet in Manchester, New Hampshire. I mean, really the height of romance, the romance capital of the United States.
Right.
Yeah, you know, we were working together on the campaign, and I was, for the state of New Hampshire, the communications director, and Brian was the political director. And so it was our job to work together. But Brian had been on the campaign for a long time, and I was kind of a newbie. So I walked into this picnic, and I was just like, you know, trying to be the new person who gets along with people. And Brian, you know, I think he was both like intrigued, and he was a little bit like, who's this person who's going to come in and like, you know, mess things up. So I had to really, you know, work my way towards respect and, you know, collegial.
Made the first move.
Who made the first move? Oh, me. Oh my gosh.
You did. Oh, wow.
Yeah, totally. Brian like was just always surrounded by interested parties, shall I say. And I had to tell him that even though he was surrounded by, you know, lots of options, that I was funnier than everybody else around him. And so that was like a way better dating path for him to keep him entertained. And I basically asked him to go out with me on AOL Instant Messenger while sitting across from him in the office, you know. So I basically pitched him to go out with me, and he was like, I guess, you know.
Wow.
And the rest is history of a power couple that's changing the future. So
that's right. Now, after that wonderful memory, now unfortunately we're here tonight to talk about ALS. Not a good memory, as we all know. Tell us a little bit about that first moment, Brian and Sandra, when you knew something was going badly wrong.
I was a prosecutor in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working on a federal crime case. And I remember that my hand kept cramping. As a 36-year-old guy, I totally ignored it. I thought it was because I wasn't working out and I was tired, because we had a 1.5-year-old and we were expecting our second daughter. But the cramping would not go away.
Yeah.
The week after our second daughter was born, I went to my PCP. I went because I had a terrible cough. It turns out the cough was because of our dog.
Lucky. Dodged that one.
We dodged that one, but the
Yeah.
doctor did take a look at Brian's hand and his arm. And I remember that moment
Mm-hmm.
where his eyes got big
Oh, yeah.
and he paused
Mm.
and he left the room. He came back and actually said, I have an appointment for you tomorrow with a neurologist. And I asked him what he thought it was. He said he did not know. But he said it could be something very serious or nothing at all. So the next day, I went to the neurologist, and within 10 minutes, he sat me down in a chair and he said, I am 99% certain you have Lou Gehrig's disease.
Mm.
And I said, I know that is not good. But tell me, how long do you think I have left? And he said, about 6 months.
No, geez. Well,
And that was how it all began.
So
and
that is
thankfully-
really the start. Oh, I'm sorry, Mike. I was to say
Yeah,
that is really the start of Synapticure, because what we're here to talk about tonight.
No, let
Well,
me
you know,
interject one thing before Brian decided to change the world. I just want everybody to know, as you mentioned earlier, with iamALS, you know, you guys, what was that? I just have one more quick question here. Is you both started iamALS in, I think it was about June. It was about early of 19. Is that right? Remember, it was about the same time we started also. And what made you decide to take that route? And what did you see that was missing? Because I think that rolls into to Synapticure. And the reason why we're here tonight is what was it that really got you thinking, man, we need to do something more or different, and then we'll move into Synapticure after that.
I'll let Sandra share a bit, but before I do, I will say she sent me out on the road for 7 months.
On tour.
Yeah, to meet with every ALS clinician,
Wow.
every ALS group,
I hadn't heard that.
and many ALS patients to find out what they were doing. And see how we could help. And the takeaways from that was what led to iamALS.
Okay.
I mean,
Gotcha.
yeah, I've been the CEO of 2 nonprofits, and I didn't want to start an organization. So I told
Right.
Brian
It's a lot of
no.
work.
And then he went on the road and he did some serious homework. He didn't outsource it. He himself talked to all the stakeholders, and
Wow.
most importantly, families living with ALS, and tried to figure out if there was something that could be done that we were particularly well positioned to do, given our work background and our network. And it turned out
Great.
that he did have some good ideas. And so begrudgingly, I
Great
started
ideas. Great
iamALS with
ideas.
him.
Nice. Okay, perfect. No, that makes absolute sense, and that's a great lead into the real reason we're here today, which is Synapticure. Go ahead, Michelle, and yeah, let's get into this exciting new organization that's just, I think, going to change the game. So
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually wanted to take over this part because both of you guys have been patients and I have not. And so one of the things that I think is really important for everybody that's listening tonight to understand is that Synapticure was born from a patient's experience of all the hurdles and gaps that you saw. And certainly let's be fair, you guys had a lot of contacts in the community, so you were probably able to open doors more quickly and open doors that a lot of other people weren't able to. So tell us a little bit about from the day they told you, Brian, you have 6 months, what your care journey was like and where you saw some of those hurdles.
After I heard the words ALS for the first time, we saw 7 different ALS specialists to get second opinions and third opinions and fourth opinions. What's that? Every time we would travel, Sandra would bring with us 7 white binders.
Wow.
Of our medical records. Because there was no coordination between the doctors.
Okay.
So we had to bring everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We had to know what to ask for. So we realized that we had to become our own experts.
That's right.
And we were lucky. My brother's a doctor, and Sandra's parents are both PhDs in molecular biology and chemical engineering. So we had around us who knew far more than us. That was the only way that we were able to find promising trials and promising treatments. We had to bring them forward to our clinicians to ask about them.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there was one point in time where a clinician told Sandra, you have me against a wall.
You go, girl.
Yeah,
You
well,
know,
we've
I'm
all
gonna-
got to be our best researchers, right?
Yeah, and I think for the people in the community, it's really interesting to hear your comments below as we're talking, if that was similar to your experience. So Brian and Sandra had this network of really experienced healthcare professionals and brilliant, molecular biologists in your family that you could use as resources, but a lot of people don't have that. And so let me ask you, Mike, when you were first diagnosed, tell us a little bit about your journey and some of the things that you encountered with difficulties from your first diagnosis.
Well, I think my diagnosis was a lot like Brian's in the sense that it was very quick. I had waited so long, right? That's what guys do. They wait until catastrophe basically happens. And so my right leg was substantially smaller than my left leg. And so my doctor saw it immediately and said, oh, Houston, we got a problem. And so I kind of knew. I remember leaving my general practitioner's office that day, like basically crying because I knew like this ain't good. Like something's really wrong here. And of course it ended up, I had gone to high school with my neurologist when I walked in the door, sure enough. And he was able to diagnose me very quickly, almost on 1 or 2 visits. I can't remember. But the key thing for me, and this is what's awesome about Synapticure, and I know is going to really interest people, is that I ended up having the SOD1 variant. I had no clue. The people in my family downline or upline or in whatever it is they had died either young or before they were able to develop symptoms. And so the fact that I was SOD1 was incredibly a shock. I had no idea until I found out as part of the Brainstorm Neurone phase 3 trial, they did a free genetic test. Now, at no point did my doctor ever suggest that. And that would have been critical because it might have changed my selection on trials. And so that's what's amazing about Synapticure. And Sandra, this is so amazing to me. Tell us a little bit about what you're planning to do to fix this issue. where patients walk in, and I want to be clear, you're not looking to replace the local doctor-patient relationship or really even break that up. What you guys are doing is an adjunct type of philosophy, but tell us specifically, and this is amazing. I just love this. What are you planning to do to maybe identify these familial malfunctions early in the process, and then about the trial coordination? This is just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first, like what you said, Mike, is so true. Synapticure is for all patients, and we're here to partner with all doctors. So that can be your local PCP, your local neurologist, a local ALS clinic, or even if you're seeing one of the specialty centers that you travel to, we will partner with everyone. And so
Awesome.
we are augmenting the care that you're already getting. And we put in a lot of effort to doing that all in a super thoughtful and coordinated way. So we actually ultimately also help your doctor just sort of operate more efficiently. But to your second point, you know, it's so interesting when people outside of the ALS world hear the word clinical trials, they think, oh, that's interesting. You know, maybe someone will want to do that to contribute to research, or it's theoretical. I mean, for Brian and I, and for so many of you, that is the treatment option. That is your lifeline, possibly. So there is literally nothing more important than figuring out if there's a clinical trial that could target your kind of ALS.
Amen.
I mean, that is everything for all of us. And so in the last 5 years, we have come so far in our understanding of the disease. And now we really have so many genetic subtypes, and we can really bring any patient in the door and immediately get them the most comprehensive genetic testing and genetic counseling, so that we make sure you have the best information possible with the best research available today on your subtype of ALS, so that that can inform you on the best fit clinical trial. And we will do that kind of thinking in partnership with your doctor. And so it'll be a real team effort. But today, the standard of care is, Mike, to your point, not that much different from what you experienced.
Right.
Very few patients are getting that testing and counseling. And a lot of times we get asked, oh, did you have family history? I mean, half the time we don't even know if we have family history. And yet the delay in getting that testing could be a trial or not for us. The difference is huge.
So to that point, oh, Brian's got something to say.
Sorry. Michelle, to your point. If there is one thing we aim to do, is to take Brian's experience and bring the access that he had to every ALS patient. We will not accept care being dependent upon where you live. If you look at oncology, they have. They are doing genetic testing for all patients. And they've done that for a long time. They've also known for a long time. Done? One more time. Oh, what are called tumor boards. And those are collaborations between different doctors that treat you. And this is what is considered to be the norm in oncology. But in ALS, it's an aberration. And we have to change that. You know, Mike, one other thing I just wanted to mention, because I know, look, Brian is 4 years in to ALS. I know both you and Brian are past the point of qualifying for clinical trials. So I just also wanted to say that there is a lot that we can offer for individuals who are past that window as well. I think the more we learn about every individual subtype of ALS, it can not only inform a potential clinical trial match, but it can inform potential off-label therapies. Who knows, with the new world of EAP opportunities. I mean, really, the bench science is moving so fast and the clinical system is outdated. And we have to make this, the latter, marry up with the opportunities of the former.
That's right. So somebody out there who's diagnosed, and again, local doctors can handle that diagnosis process. They work with you. They'll be given a care coordinator, right? And then one of the things you do initially that you can do is to offer them genetic testing and work that out with the patient. And it's going to be in some cases low or no cost, because I know there's a basic panel, right, that's available, which is just, guys, this is so huge. I can't tell you how big it is to have that option available in ALS. It's going to totally inform a lot of individuals about their potential disease state. And there are other panels that could be done, like the C9 is typically the one that is usually done first, right? It's the most common one. So you do that one, I suppose. And then maybe you have others like SOD1 or whatever. So you guys can do those panels and really inform the patient, first of all, hey, but you have a genetic malfunction or you don't. And then you can start to look at clinical trials like these new Biogen drugs that are in the pipeline, right? There's 4 or 5 ASOs and small molecule drugs that are in the pipeline right now. So that's huge. And I think that's fantastic. It's just going to revolutionize ALS, initial ALS in early care. Michelle, do you have anything to add to that? And then maybe we take a look at the new website. What do you think, guys? You can kind of take a look at that.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. A couple of questions. One of the things when Mike and I got involved with Synapticure, one of the things we asked Brian and Sandra is, so you're going to do the ALS panel for genetics, but in the future, you're hoping to expand that even broader. That's kind of like a next generation step. So you talk about that a little bit. And then I have one other question for you before we talk about some of the other pillars of Synapticure.
Yeah. You want to jump in? Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I think even today, everyone, there is a standard panel, but what we do with the genetic counselors we partner with is we flag for you some additional variants that might not be a part of the standard panel today that have clinical trials that are targeting those genetic variants. So we're really trying to stay a step ahead. I mean, just like Brian said, we want to give everybody what Brian had. What did Brian have? Brian had my 2 scientist parents scouring the data, flying to every international ALS symposium. I mean, the way our family advocated for Brian for clinical and medical care, we want every patient to have that. Everybody deserves that mama grizzly in their corner, because this disease is so daunting. And it's also on the cusp of a lot of change. And so we want to have our eyes out for every new opportunity that we can make possible for people.
So that leads right into, oh, sorry, Brian, go ahead.
As Mike mentioned, that means when you enroll in Synapticure, you're paired up with a care coordinator, and the care coordinator will stay with you for your whole journey. And the care coordinator will, or they are nurses and social workers who have one focus, helping you to make your journey easier, and also educating you about the different medical options that are out there. The way we're able to make this work so well, we have brought in partners who have not worked in the ALS space, but have expertise in the ALS space, and who want to get involved, but who have not previously been involved. So we are able to partner with expert genetic counselors and CLIA certified labs to do the testing and to do the counseling so that you have someone you have someone who can help you understand where what you are seeing, even if there is no variant that is known. That way you have a counselor to help you understand what that means for you.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I think
And
that's fabulous because it leads into, you talked about the clinical trials, and we know that a lot of times even the best clinics, they have a hard time keeping track of all of the trials available around the country. They may only know about the trials at their clinic, and if they don't happen to be doing any, they probably know about even less. So those talk about two of the pillars with Synapticure, but I know telemedicine and telehealth is also one of your other pillars. So do you want to briefly go into how telehealth is really important to what you're trying to do?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, Brian is unable to walk independently, and especially with the current, pandemic and what have you, it's also intimidating for a lot of us with compromised respiratory systems to be out and about. So, for a whole host of reasons, it never has been easy for ALS families to travel to appointments.
that's
And
right.
look, at the end of the day, we're always going to partner with in-person doctors because there are certain parts of your journey that should happen in person. But there's also a lot that can be handled remotely. And if there's anything we can do to make families' lives easier, we want to do that. So when it comes to the genetic testing, the kits get sent to your home, and it's like a spit test, and you just mail it back. It's easy. You do it from your home. When it comes to the counseling sessions, you do it via telehealth from the comfort of your own home. And then we also have, in addition to the care coordinators who you meet with via Zoom and telehealth, we have teleneurologists.
That's
so
right.
that was one thing
Thank
that
you.
Brian and I felt really acutely in our own journey. And also we hear from lots of patients, hey, I only get to see my doctor once every 4 months. And I've got lots of questions in between
That's
then.
right.
And I don't want to necessarily make another appointment. Sometimes it's hard to get another appointment before the 4-month visit. So Synapticure is going to give people access to on-demand teleneurologists via telehealth so that you can handle a whole host of issues that you need. I mean, if you have prescription issues, if you need, your wheelchair, handicap, placard, it's called. Oh my gosh, I love that
Right. For
placard.
the car. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, there's
Right.
those are even the small things, but there's so many even bigger things, thinking
Huge.
through, the trial options and what have you, to small things. And it's just really about taking advantage of how far the technology and telemedicine sector has come. And man, other disease spaces, you bet they're taking advantage of it and utilizing it. Why should ALS be left behind? There's no disease that needs telemedicine as badly as ALS does. No patients that deserve the convenience of that. I mean, how many times do I talk to patients where they say, I feel so overwhelmed by driving 6 hours each way. I'm just going to skip the visit.
That's right.
And then they don't go at all. Right.
And that's a great point. And to just so everybody out there knows, this is not just a service you sign up for that shows you a few clinical trials and maybe a genetic test. Like, you guys have legitimate teleneurology. This is going to be something that patients can do. You're so right. I did teleneurology. It snowed here. You guys know, you were in the Midwest last week. I mean, I don't know if you've got snow there now, but I'm buried in here like 2 days ago, and I could not get to my neurology appointment. So they did telemedicine, and I think I'll just do it that way every time. And of course, with Synapticure, I'm enrolled for that myself, of course. And Anna, I just wanted to add this, that your counselors are very patient, because Anna's been chasing me down, and it's my fault completely because I've been so unresponsive and I've been a bad patient basically. But Anna's amazing. And I know the overwhelming nature of this at first. I remember you guys gave a number of how many people you thought might sign up initially. So let's give people a little disclaimer here, just to be patient, because when you said that number, we were all like, no way, it's going to be way more than that. Remember that on the call? And is it turning out to be that way? Or are you just are the lines getting overrun right now? I mean, tell us a little bit about, I've already had 4 people say, where do I sign up? On this time we've been on. So tell us a little bit about what people should expect initially here in the short term.
Well, I mean, look, part of the value among many values of having Mike and Michelle guiding us and advising us is that they warned us that we could have a big influx when we launched publicly last week. And so we really worked hard to staff up our support. So we've been, even in recent weeks, adding to the team of care coordinators, medical assistants, customer support specialists. You can even see on the Synapticure website, careers page, many jobs are posted. And look, Brian and I, we worked hard. We worked hard to raise the capital to launch this company. And we want to pay some good people to support this community. That's the whole point. We want to put this capital to work in service of this community. So we're hiring a really awesome team to do so.
Can I ask
question?
Go ahead,
sorry,
Mike.
Michelle, and then we'll go to the website. And then, of course, your question. Some people have asked, tell us a little bit about, one question was, does my insurance cover this, right? So that was something we talked about a lot in the early kind of the advisory meetings was, yes, you do bill insurance, right? For some of the things. And then you have partnerships with others because of the extreme pull that you guys have right now in the community. You've been able to basically just, guilt trip some of these companies, I think, into giving some things, right? For basically as a huge help to the community. And tell us a little bit about that mix of, partnerships versus how you bill insurance. It's amazing.
Yeah. 100%. So first, to begin with, Synapticure doesn't have a charge to patients, like a fee separate and apart from what you receive as a copay requirement, like when you see any doctor. And so when you sign up, or even if you just click the enroll button on our website, there's no commitment from clicking that button and getting an appointment. All that happens is one of our care coordinators, maybe even Anna, Mike's care coordinator, will call you and will really walk you through step by step and be like, okay, this part, there's no charge. This part will bill your insurance, and the copay range is typically X to Y. We did, even to your point, Mike, strike a deal, a package with one of the partners to make it even more affordable in case certain individuals didn't have insurance. And then there are also payment assistance programs that, again, our care coordinators can work with patients to navigate. But at the end of the day, everybody gets full transparency about what every item is that's being offered and which ones would have copays and which ones don't have any related charges. And you make the decision. You decide what you want to do.
Transparency in ALS. How about that? Michelle, go ahead. You've got
made by patients and a caregiver.
Right.
Going to be served differently.
Yeah, one of the things that I wanted to ask, because it so drew me to this when you guys first contacted me, is the quality of the clinicians that are involved. So your chief medical officer, Dr. Jinsey Andrews from Columbia. And obviously, I love that Jinsey both has the experience on the clinical side, but also working in pharma, because that really gives her some insight, right, into some of the challenges. But you've kind of got a who's who from all across the country. So do you just want to kind of talk about some of the people that are part of both of your advisory team, as well as the people, the teleneurologists that might be doing some of those telehealth visits with people?
Yeah, absolutely. You want me to share a little bit? So, in addition to Dr. Jinsey Andrews, who is our CMO, we have Merit Sikovich, obviously leading name in the ALS clinical sector, and James Berry. So MGH and UCSF were our first 2 collaborating clinics. And at UCSF, we're partnered with Dr. Kathy Lomenhirth. There's actually on our website, if you click on providers, there's a tab that really speaks to how we partner with these clinicians. And in fact, the first thing you'll see if you click there is a really lovely testimonial quote from Dr. Kathy Lomenhirth. So she's sharing what I alluded to earlier, which is that when these clinicians partner with Synapticure, we also aim to take work off their plate, right?
Absolutely.
these are the leading doctors in the country, and we want them to see more of the ALS
Yep.
community, right? Right now, you know, the data is telling us that really far too few people living with ALS are getting in to see these top ALS doctors. And so how do we increase their bandwidth? Well, while we support patients, we also take work off their plates. So that is a
Definitely.
real, you know, guiding star for us as well in this work. And so you can see a number of questions and answers that we've posted there for those providers. But just to go a little bit further, in addition to those physicians, we also have on our advisory board, Dr. Rothstein from Hopkins. We have Dr. Jeremy Schechner at Barrow, and we have Bob Bowser, who is like the biomarker leader in the ALS sector, and you know, Sammy, just so many others at University of Michigan. So I don't know, Brian, if there was anything else that you wanted to add there. I think what we've tried to do is to bring together bring together the leading thinkers in different parts of the ALS space. That means clinicians, that means researchers, that means, oh, Aaron Gittler, yes, who is at Stanford. And that means patients, caregivers, and advocates as our expert advisory board. We match them up with people who have done this before in different disease areas. And we can, so we can learn from them.
Nice.
And bring their successes to ALS.
I love
Awesome.
that.
Amazing.
You know, I know you mentioned the website, and we just wanted to have a chance. Mike's going to take us over there so you can kind of narrate the way through it, but we wanted people to see what it looks like, where to go, and what they're going to find on the website. So Sandra, do you want to be the
Yes.
narrator?
Can you see it? It's up. I just want to make sure you can see it first. It is supposedly showing. So
Yes, we can.
okay. All right.
Brian didn't want me to use this picture of him, first of all. I think you're upset that you're not wearing contacts and you hadn't shaved. Is that correct? Okay. Any other complaints before we move on? Okay, good. So, I mean, the thing that I'll say is, obviously this is Brian and I, and what we want, first of all, is for this site to exude warmth and family, because again, that is how we feel about this work. We want to be there for other families the way that our family was able to do this for Brian. And also, we'll see as you scroll down, Michelle, we have these 6 core values. Brian has named several of them. We begin with you. We empower you and educate you. We build around you with a full team, connecting to your current doctors. We work to figure out your kind of ALS, and we stay with you throughout this whole journey. Right. And then as you scroll down further, you'll see something that Brian and I are both very proud of, which is
I'm gonna scroll past that
starting
ugly
with
guy
Mike.
there, so.
Hold on, let's go to Mike for a second. Don't scroll past Mike. So this was really important to Brian and I. This website, I will do one caveat. Aside from there is one visual of a genetic testing lab that is a stock photo. There is no stock photo of a patient on this website.
Real patients, real
photo are real people who are in this program, who are living with this disease. And that was really important to Brian and I. And so this video starts with Mike sharing, perhaps, I don't know, Michelle, I defer to you on how much time you have.
This is
I don't think the audio will work, but let's see. I don't know. Can you hear it?
No.
Oh, we can't hear it. Okay, go to the website and check out Mike.
yeah, or not. I just do obviously because it's important, but just ignore my fat face. It's terrible. Anyway, let's move down. You guys, wow, look at these collaborators, man. I mean, this is, to me, this says it all. I mean, the Mass Gen people, obviously, I know incredible people. Dr. Sokovich, I mean, wow, guys. you hit it out of the park here. This is like a who's who, right? So
Well, and we
very,
want everyone to know that this is very connected to the ALS community as it exists today, right?
this
Just like,
is legit. Yep.
yeah,
I think this for me was one of the most impressive parts because being Latina and a person of color, I know that one of the things that's really missing for a lot of communities of color is access to the top doctors, right? And so whether you live in a rural community and you don't have access, or you're in its community, even out here in the West where I am, because we don't have as much prevalence of ALS, the clinics for the multidisciplinary clinics, they're a lot further apart, right? So it's not just a 1 hour drive, it's sometimes a 6 or a 10-hour drive to get to a multidisciplinary clinic. And so a lot of my friends have just said, I mean, I have some friends that said, I haven't gone to a neurologist in 6 years. And that's, you know, you don't want that to happen, right? So this is what I think is so wonderful about Synapticure, is you're really making access the same to somebody that lives right next to Mass General as to somebody that lives in the middle of Wyoming or the middle of Idaho, right? So
Absolutely. That's
100%.
huge. And this is the first, this is where you start, right? Tell us about this page. And this is where it all starts for the patient, right? You click on the button I used to get there was, of course, the get started button, right? And I think that's actually the first one on the go to the homepage, get started, fill this out. You can either select I'm a caregiver or I have ALS, which is great because they're different questions. And then you get to enter your own clinician in there and tell us a little bit about this page and basically how to start the process.
Yeah. So, you know, we wanted to make it super simple to get an appointment with a care coordinator just to hear more. And so all that happens when you fill out that form, it's not a commitment to enrolling or anything like that. All it does is get you an appointment. And so we
Okay.
have a really nice automated online scheduling process where you can just see the open spots. And while we've had a lot of great interest, we're also now really well set up, we think, to support that intake. And so, you know, there should be openings next week and the following week. And, you know, always reach out to us on the contact form if you're having any difficulty. And we'll make sure that it is a smooth process for you if you encounter any issues. But truly, the idea is once you fill that out and you get an appointment, you have an hour on the phone with a care coordinator who will both explain the whole program in detail and answer any of your questions. So that's all it is an opportunity to talk.
an hour.
An hour. That's amazing.
What's that, Brian? After you fill out the form
Okay.
and you select a time, and then you'll receive an email from Synapticure with more information so that you can go into the meeting prepared. So we can make the most of your time. That's really important to us,
Amazing.
that we want to make the most of your time. We want to take the administrative burdens off of your back and put them on us. What that is why we built this team. I think one thing that's important to say is that what we have here is just the beginning.
Wow.
We have plans to greatly expand what we offer. So we're going to hire more doctors, and we will offer different types of testing, and we will partner with more and more clinics. The goal here is to build out the infrastructure that allows us all to have the best care that we can possibly receive.
You know, I love this
Amazing.
because although I don't have a family member with ALS, my mother died of a really rare disease. And I remember when she was diagnosed by Barrow, actually, here in Phoenix, they said to her, you need to find a captain of the ship. because your mom has these neurological issues. She has this really rare oncological disease, and we aren't communicating. And we need to find somebody to be the captain of the ship to help her communicate. And so when I saw Synapticure, you reminded me of being the captain of the ship for everybody in the ALS
Great
community.
point.
And I thought what a huge blessing that was going to be. So go ahead, Mike, with the page.
Yeah, this is amazing. So as people can clearly see, you have a really nice FAQ section, and it right up front. How much you address the big one? How much does it cost? What makes this different from telemedicine? And of course, the care experience. You said it earlier. These are real patients. That's Scott Smith and his wife. And here's Anna. God bless her for chasing me and me not getting back with her like a good patient should. I mean, these are real people. You have amazing people on your team. The genetic testing. I saw a question earlier, and no, the answer is no. This is certainly not just, Synapticure is not just for genetic forms of ALS, right? I mean, in fact, as we know, genetic forms of ALS is, at least the identified ones now, are 7 to 8%. So you wouldn't be able to make that business model work. So it's for all ALS, right? You're watching all the clinical trials, and that's one of the things. To me, that's, if I were just signing up for this, which I am, and if I were just being diagnosed, which I'm not, of course, the clinical trial thing is so huge, because what Michelle just said is true. You've got to have somebody there who's watching these things for you. Like, you and others are fixers. You're kind of, with ALS, you're either a fixer or you kind of just need some help, and you've got fixers on your team, right? People that want to fix this and help and get you through that clinical trial maze, because it's a maze, man. You guys know that. I mean, everybody watching this right now knows that you are overwhelmed with clinical trials. It's incredible. So the way you guys are offering that, I think, is huge. Same thing for genetics. Anything else on the website you want to kind of go over before, and I don't know how much time we've got left with you guys, but we have time for some questions. And then Michelle, if you have some other stuff you wanted to add, but anything on the website that we haven't shown?
I'll just say a couple additional things before turning it back to you both. And I don't know, Brian, also, if you want to add in, but I think that question that you got, Mike, is a really important one. Is this just for individuals with a identified genetic subtype of ALS? And to your point, the answer is no. Look, we have sporadic ALS, right? So we're building what we also think we pulled together for Brian that has made his journey better. And so what does that mean if you don't have a genetic subtype of ALS, or you're past a clinical trial enrollment portion of your journey? Is that everybody enrolled in Synapticure benefits from a care coordinator really helping to take the administrative burden of this process, the captaining of this process off your plate, and just help you pull it all together. I mean, we also, look, tech has come a long way, and Brian and I have the advantage of being able to pull in the top tech partners. We're invested and led by Google Ventures. And so we have systems for organizing your medical records. Like, gone is the era of Brian and Sandra's 7 white binders being like shuttled around to every clinic. We want the care coordinator to take that off your plate, to keep things organized, to keep it synthesized. And so that anytime you see someone else, the most relevant information is clearly, outlined up front, and it makes it easier for your clinician to think through how to have the conversation with you, and for you to orient yourself. And so in addition to that care coordinator, as Brian alluded to, we're planning to rapidly grow the number of teleneurologists on the team. So again, even if you're not in clinical trial enrollment phase, you have both the care coordinator, and hopefully, as we grow into every state with teleneurology, doctors who are on demand to do telehealth appointments with you. And so needs that you have in real time, you can have addressed. And so the whole point is, this disease is hard, and let's make care so much better. Let's have it really match the opportunities that the research is presenting. And
definitely
just, say that again. One thing I'm asked on a daily basis. What? Oh, yeah. Everybody wants to know, Mike, I'm sure you get this question every day. What's your list? What are your supplements? What is your,
Right.
yeah, what are your off
Of
label?
course.
One thing we could do really rapidly. I don't know about your journey, Mike. But when I saw the different, the different specialists, yeah, they each had a different recommendation
Yeah.
for the off-label therapies that I should try. So helping educate the patients and the clinicians about what's out there now and what people are taking now can be helpful. The things that we have now are not going to reverse ALS,
Right.
but they may slow things. That's everything for someone like you and me, Mike.
Well, and you're right. There's no link between, these new hopes a lot of times and the doctors that we see on the neurologists we see on a regular basis. They are so busy, as you all know. These neurologists, in some cases, are backlogged for months before they can take new patients. I don't see this being anything but a good thing to help get patients in front of real neurologists quickly and for them to stay apprised of the latest breakthroughs in ALS. That's so important. I mean, I think a lot of patients are doing what you just kind of said, which was, well, I don't know if you actually said it this way. I'll say it, but they're actually in some cases educating their neurologist about the latest trial results because they just don't have time to read them, right? And maybe that's what you said, and I just didn't want to put words in your mouth there, but that's so important because a lot of times the doctors, they just don't know, and I don't think that'll be a problem with your teleneurologist. I'm kind of getting that feeling that they're going to be up to date on all of this, and the patients aren't going to have to go to them and say, "Hey, what do you think about AMX 35 or TUDCA, sodium phenylbutyrate or whatever, And so that's just huge. It's absolutely huge. Michelle, what do you got anything to add? And then maybe we'll take a look at some questions.
Yeah, I'd love to go to the questions. One of the things that I think is
Sure.
really, as we look to the future of how Synapticure is going to grow, this was also so exciting to me because it's not just this static service. You're going to get your genetic testing and the trials, and then you're done. Personalized medicine, where you hope to this to evolve, is that we can finally say maybe you have these 3 different genes. They're not genes that cause ALS, but maybe these 3 genes might make you a better candidate for certain trials. That's not where we are today, but that's where we want to go. And having a team that is focused on all of the things coming out in ALS, whether it's a new gene, like, some people have ALS too, and everybody's like, well, it should be an ALS gene, but it's not really an ALS gene. It's just a gene of unknown significance. The more we learn about these things, the more we're going to hopefully ultimately be able to say, you have this type of ALS, and you might be the candidate for this type of trial. So if you have ALS related to an autoimmune condition, you may find a trial that works on you. So, one of the things we're struggling with in the ALS community is we have trials that fail but seem to work on some people. That's because this disease is so heterogeneous. And we would love to be able to find trial A for person A and trial Z for person Z. That's the whole ultimate goal of personalized care for ALS. And I think that's where Synapticure is going to change, not just ALS, but a whole lot of other neurodegenerative diseases because of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's I think we all know from our own experience that these are the problems, right? Because we're living and breathing these problems. But as Brian and I met with a lot of people to, launch Synapticure, it's obvious, like, this is a problem in our healthcare system for specialty diseases, as they call them, right? There are not enough specialists that are located within driving distance. The local teams that you often rely on are not as up to date on the latest information. So this is not just an ALS problem, but you know what? Brian and I are making sure that this is a company that could potentially help other diseases, but it's starting in ALS because that's where we drove it. But this is an issue in healthcare today.
Sure is. Well, I think, as you know, which was the other online group that started in ALS and was sold for a lot of money recently? I can't remember. Is it 21? Was it 20 and what is
Patients
it?
like
20
me.
Patients Like Me. Thank you. That family did exactly that. They started in ALS and really did a good job there. But that was more of a forum, though. I think I don't really know. That was kind of before my time, unfortunately.
So
But
So do we
let's
want to go?
do a
We're coming up on an hour. So do we want to go to questions that
yes.
people have asked in the box, Mike? And I
Let's
can't
do
see
and
the
let's keep.
questions as we're talking here. So
I can definitely say something. So let's do a kind of a lightning round if you guys are okay, right? Like they do on the game shows. That way we can get as many in as we can.
Are
We'll
you
just
ready for the lightning round?
Are you ready
Brian
for the
Wallach?
lightning round, Brian?
Are you
Brian looks like
ready? I don't know
he
if
looks
I
like
want to
he's
be on a
ready to
game
eat
show
or
with
take a
Brian
nap.
Wallach. I don't know. Can I get another partner? Can Michelle be my partner and Brian and Mike are together? Okay.
No, he's got another disease to go fix. He's in a hurry. So let's see. Can people text? What if they can't speak? Are they going to be able to access with text and stuff like that?
Yeah. We've had a lot of calls where it's just been with typing instead of speaking. Obviously, knowing that that's the way a lot of us communicate these days. That is 100% an option.
Okay. Expanded access. Talk about expanded access. I think you mentioned that earlier. If I remember correctly, you are kind of assisting people and taking a look at that for people enrolled in the care with the care coordinator, right?
That's definitely one area, Mike, where we want to be involved.
Okay.
Hi, Layla. This is Brian's brother, who's also a Synapticure team member. His dog just walked in. Sorry about that.
Nice.
What we see happening, Mike, as we build out the company, we're going to work with clinics and other partners to build out an expanded access program
Nice.
that is able to help people to make use of both the Act for ALS provisions and the expanded access provisions that already exist, so that we have more patients who are past clinical trial enrollment who can access promising treatments. Yeah, this is something that, again, Brian and I did this for ourselves, right? There was, I don't know, a couple of years ago, a compassionate use application. We didn't end up staying on it because we had some side effects and we didn't like it, but that was a lot of paperwork. And one, we were able to shoulder a lot of the paperwork, and two, we had doctors who were willing to lean in and help us. And so just generally speaking, we want to live in a world where everyone has that option, right? And so as we staff up and as we build out the services, that's something that we really have our eye on.
Amazing. This has kind of been an interesting one. I wasn't sure about this one. I don't know that it ever came up. What about pre-symptomatic genetic ALS carriers? Have you thought about that at all? I don't know. That's an interesting question. Can they
have? So we have made the decision just for now. For people who have a diagnosis.
Okay.
And who are showing symptoms.
Gotcha.
But we do want to expand.
Yeah, that might need some more really psychological type of counseling too, right? Because if you're going to get, if you're going to be tested for the gene, that would be something people might need, because that's a tough answer to receive,
Hey, Mike, I actually
ahead.
had somebody that sent me a question.
Okay. Please.
In between, I'm not on this, but they asked about PLS, and I know I asked you privately, but if you can address that for some of the people in the community that have PLS.
Yeah, PLS is in the same vein as pre-symptomatic. It's somewhere that we want to expand to. But we made the decision. make sure that our care offerings were as useful as possible for the core group. And then we want to expand rapidly
Nice.
to PLS and to pre-symptomatic. To Mike's point, or to the question you asked, Michelle, there are different considerations for PLS versus
Right.
ALS, for pre-symptomatic versus already symptomatic. And we wanted to get this really, really right and working really well for everyone before we expanded.
Okay.
Yeah, but we do plan to move into both as soon as we can.
And
Awesome.
a couple of other people, because everybody around the world loves you because of all the things you've done here in the
comments
States.
are like, it looks like a fan club, honestly. I'm trying to
Yeah.
find a question in here.
Are
Like,
they
I
saying
can't,
nice things about Brian? Don't show him.
not so much Brian, I think, but no, I'm kidding. Of course they are. Yeah, it's it's incredible.
Let me ask this, because a lot of people ask, because everybody loves you around the world. Unfortunately, it's only for the United States right now, just because of the unique aspects of the U.S. healthcare system compared to other countries, correct?
We have begun looking at how we can expand.
Okay.
We've looked at expanded. One more time. Expansion to Canada, to the UK, to European Union, and beyond.
Nice.
And those have different regulatory hurdles. Yeah, I think, and we're hoping to move there soon. I think, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but one thing that really helps Brian and I know how fast to move and how great the need is when individuals fill out like the contact form and share, hey, I have PLS, but I'd be really interested in a program like this. I'm pre-symptomatic, but would be really interested in support. I'm abroad, but I'd be really interested in support. That way we can really even have a better gauge on where the interests are.
Canada might be, something that would be workable earlier, I guess, huh? Probably just because of geographic location, but that's great to know that you're considering that. So you guys have been incredibly generous with your time. We're at 1 hour and 5 minutes. Do you have anything left that we haven't said that you want to kind of just get out there about Synapticure? This is all about Synapticure tonight. And I think it's really been educational. Maybe just summarize the mission in just a couple of sentences, and then explain just quickly what the main goal is here, and then we'll close things down.
I mean, I'm on the screen, everybody. I'm only seeing Michelle and Mike's beautiful faces, but I feel what they're sharing, which is so many people watching, and I just know everyone is living through hell, and I just want you guys to all know that Brian and I take our responsibility to do this well so seriously, because we know how badly this community is suffering. And we really feel like there's an opportunity to do better by this community. And I just don't want people to feel alone. And I hope that there's something here that can help everybody.
No question about that.
You should have gone before Sandra. Yeah. I'm a tough act to follow. Okay, Brian. But 2 things. But number 1. Thank you so much, Mike and Michelle. Yeah, for giving us this chance to talk directly with so many people. Number 2. The mission of Synapticure is simple. I want to make sure that no patient is ever told what I was told.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I can't help you. We all deserve better. We're going to do better. And this is how we begin to change the ALS care story. We've done so much in the last 3 years to change the ALS narrative. So it's time to actually make that progress.
Yep.
To be felt in our care system. And the care we receive. So this is for all of us.
Amazing. Michelle, do you have something you'd like to say? And then I'll close it out. Thank you so much.
No, Sandra brought me to tears. So nothing other than gratitude to both of you for leading with obviously your intellect, but with leading with your heart, more importantly. So
that's absolutely correct. Guys, thank you
to
for
Mike
watching.
And Michelle for everything you do.
Well, absolutely. Thank you all. And you are truly changing ALS. There's no question about that at this point. What's happened over the last year has been remarkable. You know, people don't realize how hard it is to, and I'll step back just for a minute, how hard it is just to get a bill passed, guys. Everybody has a bill. I saw 5 today on, people asking for money to try to do it. And, this community did that. Like you guys led that. Michelle was huge in that. People like Mayuri and Stevens and everybody, it was a group effort, everybody on all these websites. I shouldn't mention specifics because I leave somebody out, of course, but people know who the players were. And you guys I want to thank you for listening to patients and for hearing their pleas for access and for moving that forward. You're speaking the truth. The truth works. It brings followers, and we're right. We stand prepared to follow. So thank you so much for what you guys have done over the last 2 years. It's been absolutely remarkable. And as a patient, I really mean that. I appreciate it very much. So guys, thank you so much for watching. No more excuses. Please join and go follow, of course, Brian and Sandra's Twitter feeds. I don't even think I got to mention them because they're the most popular ones in ALS. We'll post them in the comments for you. So subscribe, go follow Synapticure's journey. It's going to be huge. I think this is going to be big, guys. So thank you both for doing this tonight. It's been an honor.
Let's
So much.
let's effing do this.
Let's effing
There
do
you
this.
go. I like it.
Okay.
We won't say the real word. It's just not appropriate.
This isn't
right
your
now.
average
It's a
healthcare
beautiful
company.
moment. Right.
Built by patients, caregivers, and advocates. Let's effing do this.
Amazing, right?
Love it. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
so much.
You're the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Synapticure.com, everybody.
There you go.
Type in your comments below. Thanks, Sandra and Brian. So when they come back, they know how grateful we are to them for everything they've done for the community. So just type those in below. And remember to go to Synapticure.com and check it out. See if it works for you. But we're really excited. Mike and I are honored to be on the expert advisory board. I'm particularly honored since I don't have ALS that they trusted me to bring some of my opinions to that. And Mike and I together are it's really truly amazing to be part of something so transformative for this disease. And we're going to keep fighting for you in the advocacy side. We're going to keep fighting for you on the care services side. We're going to keep fighting for you when it comes to trials. We're there for you here on No More Excuses. And we're really excited to be teamed up with both iamALS and Synapticure in this fight. So thank you, everybody. Good night.
And be patient with them. They're probably going to get overrun now. So guys, give them a little time. They'll get back with you. I promise.
It will be a busy couple weeks. Thank you, everybody.
Stay tuned.
Have a blessed night.
Stay tuned. Bye-bye. See you all.